back to our channel. Today we're going to be covering how to create your own outdoor habitat. So my name is Aquaria Doyle. My purpose here on YouTube is to create animal related educational videos, so that way me and my team can open up our very own animal rescue center. So if you're interested in that animal loving journey, please be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. That way you are notified by every single video that we post every single day. Obviously check the description down below for the research that I have done for this video in specific, and all the links that I do put in the description for animal related organizations to donate to and the Humane Society of the USA events page, so that way you can see any events that are going on near you or virtual events if you're not interested in going out and about just yet. So yeah, please be sure to check the description in every single video. Now let's get on to the video. So I'm gonna let you know now that this video will have a version of my own opinion mixed in with all the research that I have done for this video. This will include my own 2 cents and advice. I have done my own garden before, not specifically a habitat, just a regular garden, and unfortunately I don't have the best green thumb in the world, so I just want to let you know now that I will be putting my 2 cents in there, but it's more of my own common sense rather than experience. So the first step is to plan and research. A really good way to start this out is to actually draw it out if you have the time. And obviously this depends on person to person. If you have the time to want and take care of a habitat, you have the time to draw it out at first. So drawing it out maybe like on paper or on the computer, just making sure you have the right dimensions of the area that you want to have as your habitat. Draw it out, make sure you know what area has what plants and how big the plant is going to be, just all this great information, so that way you have something to go off of instead of having just a plan and written out plants and not knowing where to put them in the yard because you didn't really plan out where it's going to go. Now you can like write it out on a piece of paper that this corner of this specific area of the habitat will have this plant, this other area of the habitat will have this plant, and you can write it out just like that, but make sure you have a really specific plan so that way you know exactly how you're going to be doing it. I'm always going to say this basically in every video, and if I don't say it, it's obviously encouraged on your own part. Do your own research when it comes to this. Obviously, I can only go off of Arizona. That's because that's where I live and that's what I'm familiar with. I can't really do where everyone else has lived or is living. That would just make the video way too long. So obviously do your own research. These are just general steps and information to follow when you do want to create your own habitat. Research good sites to follow. There are specific sites out there that are made for you to know what good plants and bad plants to look out for in your wildlife community. I have one for Arizona and it's specific to the county that I live in, and it's wonderful. I get to see what plants I should not be having in my own habitat if I do want to create one, which I won't be able to because of the HOA that I live in my apartment complex. They're very strict, so I won't be able to make my own habitat, unfortunately. I can only do that when I have my own house to live in. But just research good sites to follow from like step to step, because those are the best ones that you can actually go along with. You want to research some, well, obviously good and bad plants to have and not have in your own wildlife habitat. That is very specific. You do not want to be planting the wrong plant and it be invasive. And if you don't know what an invasive plant or species is, make sure you go and check out this video, because I don't really know what the title is right now, but check out that video. I do cover what an invasive species is. When you're creating your own wildlife habitat, don't get the type of plants that you personally think look great. Obviously, you're gonna get some plants that you're just gonna be like, wow, that's kind of ugly. What I can recommend to you, try to think of it this way. What species of insect or animal or anything do you want to attract? If a butterfly, like if you want to attract butterflies and they are attracted to a flower that you think is like really ugly, just think of it in a way where you're attracting butterflies in your own habitat. It really doesn't matter about the look. It matters about benefiting your wildlife habitat community. Or just the community. I said that really weird. So don't be getting flowers from a different state that grow specifically in that state and cannot successfully grow in your community just because you think it looks pretty or it looks good or whatever and you've always wanted it or something. Make sure you're going by your community only. Don't be going by other states, go by your community. So an example of that is my own experience. My personal favorite flower is a poppy flower, and I really wanted to grow them on my own from seeds that I got from Amazon. The only problem with this is that Arizona is a very dry state, and poppies are not really able to grow in states like Arizona. Hello. And Tigger's right here. He's just staring at me. And I was not able to successfully grow these poppy flowers, obviously, because Arizona is not the place for poppy flowers to grow. So make sure you're not making my mistake. Even though I do love that flower so much, I cannot be... Why are you looking at me like that? You're the one doing that. What are you trying to do? Kill me? I gave you treats, okay? What? Why are you looking at me like that? I should include him. He's right here. He's being all weird. I don't know what his problem is. He's looking at me like really strange. Anyway, make sure you're not making my mistake. We can do another example of like a little twilight here. So let's say Kristen Stewart has a cactus that she takes from Arizona to Washington. And Washington is the complete opposite of Arizona. It is cold and wet. Arizona is dry and hot. Cactus is not going to successfully grow in Washington because it is literally the opposite, and the cactus is going to literally drown and not succeed in a non-hot area. So make sure you are not getting plants from a different state or different area that is not specific to your wildlife community, because it will not work. Also, when you're creating your own habitat, a good thing to know is that trees are highly encouraged. Planting trees is the best thing you can do for your habitat because it provides shade and some cover for the wildlife community. And we'll go over that in a little bit about certifying your own habitat. But for right now, what you can know is that creating your own habitat, it is highly encouraged to have your own trees planted. And that's all I'm going to say. Trees are highly encouraged. So now let's go over how you can certify your own habitat. And by doing this, you need to have a habitat, obviously. But you also need to know all the things about this in order to certify your habitat. So the first thing is you need 3 food sources. This doesn't matter about the specific animal, it just matters that you have 3 type of food sources for any type of insect, bird, or just animal in general. Next thing is you need 1 water source. So let's say you have a pond. That's perfect, that's a water source. 2 sources of cover, and this can include like bushes that have an opening underneath. That can be included as a cover. Also a tree that has like really long leaves and is able to hide animals. It's just hiding spots for animals to feel safe. 2 places where the wildlife can create young, and it depends on the type of animal that you're trying to go toward, but it's just like a little opening where they're hidden, but it's an opening where they can get in and out of very easily, and they're not trying to hide very fast. It's just a way for them to feel relaxed and create and multiply how they please. And after that, you can get certified. All of these steps in specific, like they go over them each very specifically, and that can be found in hgtv.com, and I have that linked down below as well. Now, I know what you're thinking. These ways to create your own habitat can be pricey. I keep on throwing this around. It's a little bell that they have on their cat tree. Having all these listed items can rack up in price really fast. So a way to avoid that is to DIY your own items in your own wildlife habitat. You can always go to like Goodwill or just thrift stores that you know in your area that has just different things you can put in this habitat. Obviously do your own research, see what animals are not, or what you're trying to attract doesn't like this or that, or just won't be attracted to this or that. One good example that I can think of right now is a birdhouse. You can make your own birdhouses, and I have DIY websites, which for one, I don't know how to pronounce this, so it's audubon.org, and I have that listed down below, as well as homestead.org. So you can check out all these DIYs on those websites, and obviously look at Pinterest. I have a Pinterest link down below for good habitat ideas. Be sure you are looking for specific ideas for your community because you don't want to be taking ideas off of Pinterest and them be located in a different state or a different area that is not your wildlife community. You can take the ideas, but don't copy them from like copy and paste. Copy them from like inspiration. Okay, and then I have 3 more things to say before the video is basically over, only because there's only so specific that I can be, and you would have to do your own research, but it's all just, this is really exciting to me, and it's exciting only because this is something you can do on your own without that much, I say this gently, time or effort compared to anything else that you could do. And it's just something you can personalize and be proud of. But there's a stray cat outside. I get to watch him. What? I was just looking. It's not like I'm petting him. Where's this small cat? Must be a girl. She's a calico. Cross the street very carefully, please. I'm just watching her. She's just standing there. So weird. Anyway, when you make your habitat, be sure to not pick and pluck so often. If there's a dead tree or a dead plant, leave it. If those plants in that tree was supposed to be there and it's not an invasive species, leave it, because it will attract so many animals and so many insects, because that is just how the circle of life goes. Things die on their own, and that is what attracts the circle of life. obviously, since you're making your own habitat and you see any weeds and just invasive species, obviously be sure to get rid of those. But anything else that was like meant to be there, like if there was a plant that was meant to be in your habitat and it dies, leave it. Obviously that is situational, but I know in my personal community you're supposed to leave it because, for example, when you're driving out in the middle of nowhere in Arizona, it's not like some person is bringing their hose and watering cactus or cacti once a week. It goes on by itself. It survives by itself. If it dies, it attracts some animals because it dies and it's a source of cover or a source of something for them and benefit. So things happen on their own, so try and let that happen, or else it's not really a successful habitat. Obviously, when you're trying to plan and research, make sure you decide on what you want to attract in specific. If you don't care, then your list is gonna be very long. If you do care and you want specific things to come, your list of plants will be shorter and more specific. So make sure you're just like knowing what you want to attract instead of everything all at once, because not every single species is going to be willing to share. They're very territorial, so you need to keep that in mind. So don't know what are good insects and bad insects, because you don't want to be attracting the wrong bugs, for one. And for two, make sure you're not like having 10 different species of animals or insects that you want to attract. Limit that a little bit less because of how territorial these species of wildlife can be, and that is research on your part. So plan and research is so important when it comes to your habitat, because you need to do that before you even create it, or else you're going to run into so many different problems and you're not going to have a successful habitat. Obviously, when you are having your habitat, do not put any chemicals or pesticides within your plants, because that will not only not attract any animals or insects, that will also kill them. So you're not helping the situation by giving pesticides or chemicals to help grow these plants. Let them grow on their own naturally. Obviously, yes, you want to like water them, but don't involve chemicals or anything like that. Try and go the natural route if possible. And then there's different types of grass that you can use. There is the thing where the American backyard is just green grass, and it's very specific to the American backyard. And this is what I found on a website. It's not my opinion. This type of grass will not attract any wildlife habitat or wildlife community to your backyard. Make sure you're planting grass that is specific to your wildlife community. Just because it looks good doesn't mean it's always good for the community, if that makes any sense. So at the beginning of this video, I did show my own habitat, and I say that in quotations because it's not necessarily a habitat as big as what we're talking about. It is a very small form of habitat, which I didn't know it was a habitat at first, but it is a source of food and water. And this food and water is specifically for the stray cats outside, just in case they don't have any. And I'm constantly having to fill the food and water every single week, so I know they're actually using it. But yeah, it can be as small as that or as big as this. And when I say habitat, it doesn't need to be a whole backyard's worth of habitat. It can be just like a little section. It doesn't have to be big. So yeah, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Aquaria Doyle. My purpose here on YouTube is to spread awareness by creating animal-related educational videos, so that way me and my team can open up our very own animal rescue center here in the near future. So if you're interested in that animal-loving journey, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, so that way you are notified by every single video that we post every single day. Be sure to check the description down below for the research for this video and any ideas that you would want for this video in specific. I have links down below that I did not include in this video. So that way it benefits you in specific and not just for the video, it's for you. So that is why it's so important to check every single description in every single video. Also, I have links down below for donation pages, and I also have the Humane Society of the USA events page, so that way you can see any events that are going on near you or virtual events online, just in case you're not ready to go out and about just yet. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it, and so does my team, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye!